All right, so the next one is right here. I'm gonna go ahead and make this a little bigger so it's easier to follow. So this 349 Troy Street um, looks like we got 2,200 square foot. You gave it an ARV of 390. Um, so let's take a look. So I've got here's my setup. I went back a year just trying to get enough matches here. I got 24. Here's my square footage range. Let's take a look at the results. So here's Troy. Um, yeah, just kind of looking at this real quick. I think you're going to be spot on this one, but let's just double check. So where is Troy? Um, there it is. So let's just take a quick look in the inside. What are we dealing with? Little brick house, one car garage. All right, definitely needs updating. All right, so there's a 395 that has a two-car garage, and it's opened up kitchen. Pretty nice. I wouldn't call that a fresh rehab, but it's pretty nice in there. There's 365, two-car garage, and definitely not a fresh rehab. It's pretty typical. So I'm kind of at that 390 mark with this one. Here's a one-car garage, brick house, and that's a fresh rehab. You still got the stickers on there. I don't like the flooring, and they didn't do a great job with the rehab. It's kind of not what people are after these days. People really like that white look, but that's our house. It's 22, same house, 2,200 square foot. They had it listed at 384, went over ask price. So, I'd be at that 395 on this one pretty easily. What you were at 390, so we're pretty close on this one, right? So I'd probably be 395 just based on that one. So moving on to next. All right, so here's the next one is Exposition property. Um, yeah, definitely needs some updating in here. So let me see what you did here. Exposition is 1,000 square foot house listed at this. You come up with an ARV of 370. Just real quick, what I am seeing in here is about that. So you got this 367 right over here. This is a fresh remodel. So about 1,000 square foot. So yeah, I would definitely listed at 355 and went way over asking at 367. So you come up at 370, right? So yeah, I would agree with that just based on what I'm seeing here. Um, let's take a peek at this. What's going on here? Kind of a cleaner house, but it's pretty beat up on the outside. So yeah, I would stick with that one. Moving on to next. All right, so this next one is kind of I think I threw a curveball at you somehow. This one, I don't know how it got on the list because we should be looking at detached single families. This is a cluster home, 3830 Genoa Street. So when I pulled it up, here it is right here. Right away, you can tell that it's attached to something. It's a cluster home, right? It's even labeled that way, so I'm not sure right here. So you gotta, when you are comping this, you can't comp it to single family homes. You have to comp it to other cluster patio townhouses, attached buildings, right? So you came up with an ARV of 360, and if that was a detached single family, that would probably be about right. But this is a cluster home, so we have to comp it to a like property. So what I did in here is I should really go back a year, and then I checked patio cluster. Here's my square footage range. That gave me 3 matches. Luckily, one of the matches was a really good comp. So it's this one right next door right here. So this one, they have it on a contract 315. Here's one next door that is really nice. Look at this. This is a fresh remodel in here. Surprised it only sold for 314 actually. The same square footage. They listed at 305. It went over. They just underlisted that one. I would say that the you're probably around 320 or something like that for this little cluster home. It'd be the ARV that I would come up with. All right, so this next one is just Ash Street. It's about 1,000 square foot. It listed at 299. You came up in the ARV about 330. That sounds about right, based on what I'm seeing here. Here is our property. Nope. Here is our property. So it's a little block house. Has a 2-car garage in back. Definitely dated, and yeah, needs a facelift, right? So let's take a look at just kind of stepping through this. So here's this 312 that sold over here. This is a fresh rehab, kind of a funky house. Looks like a little tri-level. It has a 1-car garage, fresh rehab, kind of a weird layout. So I'm already thinking, well, we're probably going to be above this 312. And then, of course, I think you use this comp up here, has a 330, and it's really pretty nice and pretty nice inside. Wouldn't call it a fresh rehab, but it's definitely been updated recently, right? So 330 totally makes sense. You got some 327s, 355, 319. Let's take a look at this 355. I think they got this enormous shop in the back, so that's probably one of the reasons what it went so much. So yep, I would say 330 would be what I'd come up with too. All right, so this next one is this Alaska 4580 Alaska. Pretty familiar with this one. We were fighting for this one. Didn't get it, but let me see here. 1,500 square foot, list price 275. You come up with an ARV of 340. Okay, let's see what we got here. So right away, I just wanted to kind of show so I'll show you my criteria. Let's start from the beginning. So got my criteria. I'm only having to go back 180 days because we've got quite a bit of properties to look at. Single family, got our square footage range, and here's our matches. So right away, I just wanted to point out the mistake I made. I'm crossing over on Alameda, which we can't really do that. So because you'll see that neighborhood up there is just going for quite a bit more. There's a lot of still the high-priced homes up there. So let's cut that out. So let's get rid of that. So here we are. Here's our property. We got this 430. So let's take a look at ours. Little block house, right? Definitely needs updating. Wow. So can't remember. Does it have a garage? Off street, no. So no garage, right? So then we got this 430 over here. 1-car garage. This is a brand new house. This is a brand new build. So look, let's see when this thing was built. This thing was built in 2017. So those typically go for quite a bit more, these new builds. So let's take a look at this one over here. So this one pretty nice inside as well. This is an older house. It sold for 430. So let's take a look at this 390. Kind of weird. It's in a weird spot, but it is a fresh remodel. So over 390. So I'm over 400 at this point, just by looking at these comps that we have over here. You came up with what did you come up with? This Alaska, you came up with 340. We're definitely not at 340. Let's see. I'm going to try to figure out where you're getting 340. That's not a fresh rehab, 320. Let's take a look at the results. I'm gonna try to figure this out, what you were looking at here. So this is 19, 1,300 square foot, 1,500 square foot. Ours is 1,500 square foot. So you're at 340. Let's see if I can figure it out and come back to you so we're not wasting your time here. All right, so yeah, I think I figured out where you got your 340 from. This is a tough one. So here's your subject property, and you probably are using this right here. It's a very similar house, right? So this is a little square house, very similar to ours. I wouldn't call this a fresh rehab, but it's pretty new. That's really nice inside, right? So I can see where you're pulling your 340. Take a closer look. Yeah, so this one's tough. So let's kind of walk through this one a little bit. I'm definitely not doing these 430s, even though they're similar square footage. That's a brand new house, so that's not going to work. This one's kind of over here, kind of a unique design, not like ours. So I'm not going to weigh that one very heavy either. We got this 390 over here. It's just kind of a weird looking house. A lot of concrete around it. So if this sells for 390, then I would think ours would be around there. So I'm going to jump across Morrison Road here and take a look at some of these over here to see if I can get some help on this value, because it's just kind of, the values are kind of all over the place in here. And you're going to run across that from time to time where some of these comps just don't make a lot of sense. So this was really nice inside, fresh, clean rehab. We're at 360, 355. So I'm definitely around 355. Here's this 390 over here that is very similar to our house too, and this is another fresh rehab. So you kind of have comps all over the place in here, and so when I see that, it kind of take a shot out of it. I would say, probably, I'd probably be about 360, 370, somewhere around there, because we got these 390s over here. We got this 350 here. Let's take a look at this one. It's 350, and it's a brick house, but it's not even fixed up inside. So ours is gonna be fixed up. It's gonna be more. So this one's kind of tough. So, yeah, I'd probably say 370, 380, somewhere around there. So yeah, I'm gonna move on. Sometimes you just kind of gotta take a shot at it, if not spend a lot of time on it. But yeah, I'm gonna say 380 on this and move on. All right, so I was just kind of doing a comparison. These are the ones that Solomon made offers on. I just wanted to see how close that we were all coming in together. And for the most part, we're all kind of coming in pretty close to one another. So, for example, like Alaska, he came up at 370. You came up with 340. I came up at 380. Ash, he came up at 320. You came up at 330, and I came up at 330. So we're all pretty close to one another, right? So Genoa, he didn't even make an offer on for whatever reason. Exposition, he's at 350. You were at 370. I was at 370. So interesting that we're kind of off on that one a little bit. But Troy Street, you were at 390, I was at 395, and he was at 360. So interesting on that. I might have to shoot this video over to him as well to try to kind of get us on the same page here on a few of these. But anyways, I'm going to keep going and see what else I come up with. All right, so this next one is Adams Court. This is a trailer. We don't make offers on trailers. We don't deal with trailers at all. This is a trailer court, looks like. Um, so hang on 1 second. All right, so sorry about that. Grab a phone call. So this is trailer. We don't deal with trailers. You can tell that it's a trailer. Uh, we don't even, and if you comp a trailer, you have to comp it to other trailers around. So which you might have done. You came up with ARV as the same as um, same as the list price. So whatever. Anyways, I just gray that one out. We don't even look at them. So I'll move on to next. All right. So here's 2551 West 39th Avenue. So I know those one extremely well. That's one that we put under contract and resold last week. So very familiar with this one. I'll just give you a little background. Solomon threw out an offer at him at 359, and I actually know this listing agent, so I called her, renegotiated it down to four. No, he sent an offer at 459, and I renegotiated down to 430, and then we turned around and sold it to another group. So you've got an ARV of 530. I'm going to try to figure out where you got that at. Highlands is kind of tricky. So, it takes a little bit of practice to get it right in here. The ARV in here is somewhere around, 680, 690. And I'm going to show you that here and walk through that so you kind of get an idea. So here's our property. It's a little stucco house, 1,700 square foot. They got one picture. Doesn't give you a whole lot to go on, right? Now you got this 725 up the street. That's a pretty strong comp. This is a little brick house, same square footage, fresh rehab. So we're already kind of, up in that range, right? So I got this 690 little brick house. Now these are brick, so they are worth a little bit more, but really nice, 1,700 square foot. So we're just we know we're in that range already. So let's take a look to see. I'm going to try to figure out where you came up with your 530. So here's a 530, but this house is not, it's terrible inside. So I'm going to try to find where you got your let me see, your 530. So hang on a second. All right, so I'm really struggling to find this 530, but I did find this 545 that's just right down the block. Definitely not. It's pretty nice inside, but it's not a fresh rehab. And it sold for 540. But it's not a very well done. This kitchen layout there's something wrong with it. Looks like they put the stove and then they got the staircase behind them. It's just they have some layout issues in this house. Windows are old, doors are old, so it's kind of clean but kind of not. So, anyways, why don't I just step through what I did so you better understand it. So, I'm not able to find where you got that 530. So, but I'm going to show you what I was coming up with. So, you got to be careful in this neighborhood because the brick houses typically sell for more. But here is our house right here, and like I said, we got this one up the street, a little brick house that's it's a fresh remodel, 725. This one's really nice, really nicely done. And then you got this 690. Then you got these under contracts over here as well, that are pretty nice as well. So we're kind of in that 680 range, 690 range on the ARV. So hopefully that helps.